welcome back to my channel. This is Becky, and I just wanted to do in this video is talk a little bit about when is enough enough. As a domestic abuse survivor, I found that a very tough question to answer when I was in survival mode. Now that I'm in thriving mode, now that I'm out of that dark part of the forest, I can reflect back now on it and say, why didn't I end stuff sooner, right? My husband was trying to kill me, and yet I made it work for over 10 years. Like, why? What in my psychology, I mean, let alone whatever was going on with him, right? Like, okay, clearly he has his own issues, and I tried to get him help, and we can talk more about, my story if you want to hear more about it. I'm more worried about your story, but this gives you background on some of the information that I might be able to help you with. Because I did all the help. I tried getting him the inpatient treatment care. We tried we did it all. Anyway, I'm gonna focus on me, and I know people, oh, you're so selfish. But that's what the problem was, is I was so centered on helping him that then I came unglued. And then when I come unglued, because I'm the one who's taking care of the home, making the money, going to school, taking care of the kid, giving birth, incubating the baby, and then giving birth to the baby, then fully responsible for caring for the baby. Because when you're with someone who has severe addictions that lead to legal issues and financial difficulties, and you're in the pressure cooker trying to hold it all together because God said, till death do us part, and okay, I guess, well, we're in this till I die. What do I do? He's gonna kill me. Does that sound like a very empowered divine feminine? No, but that's what happened. And I became so depressed and so anxious that they were wanting to, they did try to put me on medications, but I never really stuck to them. I was like you, I don't like the pills. I much prefer my personality when I'm not zombified, just like you. I learned how to pretend to be zombified, and what that means is I learned stoicism, and I can teach you about that if you would like more help on learning how to mask better. If you know you're going to be working with someone, let's say it's a parent, and you are disabled to the point where you're bedridden, and you know that you're dependent on that person until they die, and you get a new caregiver, and there's nothing that you can do. Well, that person has to learn to stay in a mental prison with, in their mind, their antagonist being their jailer. And it could be, I worked with people with cerebral palsy who had, their mom was like a really well-known person, and they had lots of money, and this poor woman who was in her 30s, who's in a wheelchair with cerebral palsy, who can't function her body, is miserable because her mom is not abiding by her wishes for anything. So I deal with a lot of situations that you probably wouldn't have the knowledge base for. And I've done, like I said, not just dealing with teenagers, but I've done a lot of respite care and end-of-life care and elderly care and aged and dying care, and people with religious wounds are, I'll be honest, the people with religious wounds are the hardest to help heal because they're so ingrained that they don't want to unlearn programming that could possibly be wrong. I don't want to force anything on anybody, but I am consistent on what messages God tells me to deliver. And if the message changes, like one minute maybe you catch me on a day and you say, hey, what do you think about this situation? And I say, well, right now my gut's telling me that if I were in your shoes, I would wait on that, and then maybe you ask me that same question a month from now, and I'll be like, oh, you know what, God's telling me right now, I think it's time for you to go ahead and do that. See, the energy is always shifting because divine timing is at play. So just because I tell you or share with you information in a moment doesn't mean that isn't still going to be valuable information for you. It just might not be valuable in that moment. I part of my job is to plant subconscious seeds of wisdom in our conversations. It's just coded in the stories that I share. So I'm not sharing stories to like one up you, like, oh, you got that problem? Oh, check out, my friend had this problem. That's not what I'm doing. What I'm doing is like, okay, it's like a strategic playbook for God, right? So God says, okay, if this is the play that's coming at her, remember when you helped this person with this scenario. So share that story, because it's going to trigger something. It's going to activate something in this new person that's going to help them reflect on, well, why did she share that particular story? Let me compare the stories. Let me reflect. You remember in school how they would give you like a passage and then they would ask you questions about the passage? Well, that's kind of what my short story sharing and storytelling is like. It's like you bringing me like I'm the teacher and you're bringing me your test paper and I'm looking at like an answer key of a past test from a previous student that I was like, oh yeah, the student got that one wrong, but they had all the others right. So, okay, it looks like that, this person might need to adjust this here, and then I share that story. I am not trying to belittle your story. I'm not trying to invalidate what you're sharing with me. I am providing a service. Because some people are like, well, you're my friend and you should just listen. Well, I'm not a therapist. I'm not here to interview you. I'm not writing a novel on you. I'm here to help you, and that means we have to actually have some level of intimacy, and I prefer to just take my mask off from the very get-go and just be like, yeah, I'm a weirdo. I talk to the aliens. Yes, I get it. Conspiracy theorists. Yes, I'm what would they call those? I'm a prepper chick. So, I'm ready for doomsday whenever it comes, because the sky has always been falling, right? That's the MO of the game of life. The world is ending. Unfortunately, I really do believe that we are at like the end of life as we know it. And I do believe that the Galactic Council is about to take over the planet, because those of us that are hybrids that have been in service in humble servitude, because believe me, I could already be a billionaire by now if I wanted it. That's not my goal. My goal is to help as many people as possible activates and ascends. I'm an ascension portal. I help you change and elevate your levels of thinking, your perspective. I help you go from a scarcity mindset to an abundance mindset. I can help you in multiple ways, just none of them are physical. Okay, I can't give you money. I can't come and visit you. I can't show up and wash your clothes for you. I can't cuss your husband out for you. I can't make your kids do their homework for you. Okay, all I can be is a communication and behavior expert that you can pay for the service of my wisdom and my guidance and my education and my insight. All right. I had some people ask if I do divination for other people, and no, I do not. I don't believe that anybody should be divinating for anybody else. I believe it allows for people to implant nefarious psychiatric issues into your brain when you start to, and believe me, I love listening to tarot readers on YouTube. So, people are gonna be like, oh, she shares tarot stuff. I do believe in divination. It's facts. It's biblical. Okay? They had oracles in the Bible. They had soothsayers and seers. It's biblical. People just don't like when we admit it and can prove it. They like to think that everybody is faking it. And then when you actually can prove that you are an earth angel, and I am not trying to be cocky. All that is that I have a willing heart for God to work through me, and I will sacrifice my pride, my ego, my fame, my fortune, if that is God's will for my life. When he told me to let go of the worldly possessions and the lavish life, luxury life that I had created for myself that was killing me, because I was trying to do what I was programmed to do, which was do it all by myself, which, you know, is designed to kill you. And then luckily God pulled me out of that and said, I'm going to put you on the right path. You're going to be like Joseph. You're going to rise up naturally with God's hand, no, but not man's hand. You're not going to sleep your way to the top. You're not going to manipulate your way to the top. You're not going to cheat your way to the top. Just like Joseph, you are going to be moved and placed, and you will work diligently, like Ruth in the fields, right? You're going to pick up your little breadcrumbs that are left behind because you've gotten permission to do so. And that's what I've done in the business world is I act like Ruth. I don't intervene. I don't speak. Unless spoken to. I don't try to intervene. So when people ask me to come and help them with more of their business versus a family, I'm not there to tell you how to change your business. I am there to lead by example, and I am there to deliver professional messages. See how my tone switches when I'm going professional mode, because Rebecca has to kick in more. When I'm dealing with a family in their own home, you know, and they're still emotionally traumatized, I'm going to give them Becky. I'm going to give them that love, and then I'm going to slowly, gradually be popping Rebecca in little by little to keep them in line. Business end, I have to flip my script. I have to do it the complete opposite. When I'm in the business world and I'm dealing with men with egos and women with egos, that I then have to come in ball busting from the beginning and say, all right, fellas, what are we doing here? Come on, ladies, let's do this, because we already know that we got envy behind the scene, we got jealousy behind the scene. You already think I'm going to steal your man, so get it on the table now so we can get that out of the way so we can actually do the work. Because the real work is why I'm here, not the social crap. I'm not in high school. Even when I was in high school, I wasn't playing the high school games. I was on mission since I was a child. People don't want to believe that, but it's true. You can even ask the government who's been tracking me. Okay? I know, conspiracy theories. Only conspiracy if they're lies, okay? When it's facts, then I'm a truth speaker. I'm a truth teller, even if it gets me killed. Because guess what? As a protected child of God, the FBI knows that whatever they do to me, they do to them, because God always protects their chosen child. Now, as a protected chosen child, you don't get to just claim that and say that and be done with it and go, nah, 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 nah. I'm protected, you're not. It doesn't work that way. I can lose my protection like this. I can lose my spiritual gifts in a heartbeat. If my ancestors tell the universe, hey, she's not doing what we told her to do, she's not learning the lessons, cover her third eye, let her see what it's like to be blind again, see how much fun life is when she can't see. So I want to be able to help you be able to stay in alignment, keep your spiritual gifts, keep you moving forward. And that means me always speaking the truth. Always. And if I start to, because believe me, like I say, conscious thoughts can use telepathically. And I do have people targeting my brain because they don't like how powerful I am, especially when I'm empowered. They want to keep me medicated. And I know I sound like a lunatic. I've even told that to one of the businesses that I'm currently networking with, who's a Christian counseling center. I said, I understand to a lot of people that aren't as enlightened and aware as I am. I know I look like a crackhead standing on the corner in Vegas with a cardboard sign saying, Jesus is real, okay? I'm not immune to the fact of how over the top I am for Jesus, okay? I get it. That there are so many people that are like, this has to be an act, it has to be fake. I can't fake this. This isn't acting, because I don't even want to be on this film. And that's the truth. And anybody who knows me knows that's true. That's why it's taken me 2 years to make these videos, and why I went from to now being free flowing, going, well, you know, what are we gonna do, right? It is what it is, people. And when we start having the robots, and I'm telling you, like when I look at people, I can see the fairy ears. and I can see the elfish shapes. I can see the serpent looks of different doctors and stuff. Like, I can see people for who they are. And you know what? They're beautiful. They really are. And I know the doctors who were giving me and my kids meds and, you know, trying to mix with our brains. Me and the doctor were actually on telepathic communication. And he was helping me on a multidimensional level. Even though we are intergalactic, you know, supposedly enemies, I don't see him as an enemy. He was my ally when my family, the religious people, were effing with my head and my kids spiritually. They were intentionally dumping demons into my daughter when she was a toddler, because they didn't want to deal with their own demons. They dumped them in my child, who was a pure angelic vessel that I had to protect, provide, and defend. And my other two are also, but the one in particular, they tried. I'm not saying they didn't try to kill the other two, because they did. Seriously, they did. But those two are much stronger warriors on the 3D plane than my other daughter, because my daughter is a high priestess, and she is not going to be tainted. I'll tell you that right now. Over my dead body will my children and my grandchildren have to suffer the way the other women in my bloodline had to suffer. It won't happen. And God will continue to move me to platforms where my voice will be heard, because I am a voice for the voiceless. The women who have been conditioned to be silent and subservient and traditional good wives, who end up getting beat, mistreated, mishandled, misused, raped, and mutilated, all kinds of things. And I know that there are women who have it way worse than me, way worse than me. So don't ever think that I'm on my pity party for myself. I am doing this for the women that are still suffering, and the woman that is healing to become the empowered woman that I am today. And just because I'm healed enough that I can laugh and I can forgive from my God above and for myself, I do not forget. And my tribe will resonate with that message. My tribe will be ready to have that conversation with me on how I can help. So, let's end this on an upbeat. The next video I'm going to do is I'm going to talk more about family communication skills, because I can berate people all day long for not having these skills, but that would be problem focused, right? That would be closed-minded. That would be a limited mindset. I want to then turn around and point out the issues, and now I'm going to start giving you more tools for your toolbox, for your emotional, psychological, and spiritual toolbox that you can then have at your arsenal. So when you are in a situation, hopefully you're going to change your behavior and improve your communication and get right with God. Please like, comment, share, subscribe, hit the notification bell, whatever you got to do to try to get this message out, because I want to help as many people as I can before the powers that be decide to shut me up or God takes me home. So have a great day, and I look forward to talking with you in the next video.